And we're back for game one, playing my Tempys Uterra Korok deck. My opponent opens with Nether Embrace, which I tend to think is a relatively weak opening, since it just puts him behind on the board immediately. I don't know what else he would have had in his deck, but I think I'm happy to see him level the Nether Embrace. Nether Embrace can be a reasonable card in draft. I've certainly seen decks, particularly with the new Crypt Conjurer, that do a lot of direct damage to your opponent and try to win that way. Can work well if your opponent's playing a late game deck. But again, I think that Nether Embrace tends to be the type of card that you throw out under-leveled later in the game instead of leveling up early. So, let's see. Question is Hydra, Sower, and Grove Matriarch pick 2. I think that I think I'm going to take the Hydra and the Grove Matriarch. I think the Sower is the card that I'm... Yeah, tough call between the Sower and the Grove Matriarch here. I think the Sower is the card that I'm most willing to play under-leveled later on because it generates 2 bodies immediately. Although the Grove Matriarch can double block. It's a tough call, but I'll play the Grove Matriarch. And given that I draw my other Grove Matriarch, perhaps I should have leveled my Bright Tusk Sower. Here I think I'm going to level a second Grove Matriarch, and then I'm faced with a tough decision. So, first of all, I'm set up to trade evenly between the Cavern Hydra and the Enforcer. I could use Strength in Numbers to change that, although Strength in Numbers isn't something that I'm particularly excited to level, because I think with this deck I'm likely to draw it in situations later on where it's not very good. Metamind Explorer means that after this card dies, he's going to be able to get a slightly larger hand. I like Metamind Explorer most later in the game, when you can just throw it out as an under-leveled blocker, use it as a speed bump, and then get a better chance of drawing your high-level cards the next turn. It's not a card I usually level early, although it does have decent stats at levels 2 and 3, so it's not a horrible card to level. What am I doing here? I think the choice is probably either Grove Matriarch Mystic, or else I play something along with my Strength in Numbers. So I don't want to level the Deep Branch Prowler. Deep Branch Prowler is just great as a level 1 creature. Cloud Cleaver Titan, I think, is not bad at level 1. I'm not in a hurry to level him. So if I did play the Strength in Numbers, I get a 7/10 Hydra, which becomes a 7/6 Hydra on his next turn. I think I'll just accept these trades and level up my Ashurian Mystic and the Grove Matriarch. I think if I had an Enrage instead of a Strength in Numbers, I would have played the Enrage, but I'm just hesitant to level up a Strength in Numbers early unless I'm playing something which is really a strong Swarm deck, and this is not... I mean, this deck has some cards that generate 2 bodies, but it's not enough of a Swarm deck for me to feel confident leveling my Strength in Numbers. Yuck. Predator, not what I wanted to see. Yeah, so I think I'm going to overwrite the Seedling. I don't want to smash my Seedling into his Predator. That doesn't really accomplish anything for me. I think I'm just going to overwrite it with a Cavern Hydra, and then I think I'm happy to level one of my Enrages. Question is whether I want to enrage the Cavern Hydra or enrage the Grove Matriarch. Let's enrage the Cavern Hydra. That's probably annoying for him to deal with. He's going to move his Grimgaunt Predator into the open lane, but I'm perfectly fine with that. Here I think I level up my Swamp Moss Lurker, and then maybe the Deep Moss Raptor, because the Deep Moss Raptor is such a strong level 2 body. I didn't get my Korok this game. We'll have to see. Maybe I can get some use out of my Korok next game. But here it looks like I leveled both of my Hydras. I leveled one in Rage. I'm probably hoping to win with Grove Matriarchs and Hydras. Yeah, so I think I'm just going to toss out the Raptor, toss out the Swamp Moss Lurker to trade with his Predator, and this is not a bad board position to have going into player rank 2. A little behind on health, but not too worried about that. I'm a little bit up on the board, and I think I've leveled a fine assortment of creatures. I think I've leveled a fine assortment of creatures, but oh, that Predator is going to be problematic. Yeah, in particular, I just don't have many answers to a 13-12 Predator. One option, of course, is to Aronti Bolt it, which slows it down a little bit, brings it to 13-9, which is better. I think Lightning Spark's the better answer here. Let me... I don't feel good about this, but... Yeah, that turn 2.1 Predator was scary. That being said, he's seen two of his better level 2 cards, and so I think from this point forward that things are looking up for me. Although I did not, would have loved to draw something like one of my Tangle Sprouts or my Deep Branch Prowler against his Predator. I'm going to have to sacrifice a Hydra to it, getting a lot of value out of his Predator. And then the Icebound Fortitude is not enough to save the Hydra. Guess I'm going to toss out my Cloud Cleaver Titan. Here's the Tangle Sprout I wanted last turn. Maybe I do Tangle Sprout and then Twin Strength the Cloud Cleaver and the Tangle Sprout. Twin Strengthening the Tangle Sprout gives me a 9-10, which is pretty strong at this point in the game. Yeah, he goes and kills the Seedling with his Succubus. Rune-Scarred Zombie's not very scary. And he jetpacks the Succubus. Okay, that was an interesting choice. Moving the Cloud Cleaver Titan, play the Tangle Sprout, do the Twin Strength here, get some damage through, although I'm still about 20 points behind. Let's see what I get. Here's my Korok. Question here whether I level the Korok or level the Swamp Moss Lurker. Definitely level the Hydra. So Hydra is great for blocking like the Rune-Scarred Zombie because the Hydra will take 5 damage and then will be back up to full health by the time it is ready to attack. Corpulent Shambler is an excellent card. I think that Corpulent Shambler is one of the better Tempys commons in the new set. In particular, the level 1 version of Corpulent Shambler is able to put out 8 attack worth of damage, so you can use it as a blocker to do 8 damage to the attacker over the course of 2 turns, or you can play it like to trade with a 5/5 and then have a little guy left over. Good in a deck that can make use of the sacrifice fodder. Also at high level, 15/15 is certainly respectable for somebody who leaves the body around afterwards, so I think that let's see. So now I have a choice between getting rid of the Blightwalker or getting rid of the zombie. I can trade evenly with either of them. Let's do the Hydra here. probably just take the damage from the Blightwalker. The Blightwalker is not that scary. And then I need to choose whether to level the Swamp Moss Lurker or my Korok. I think I'll level the Korok. Again, I've never had a Korok in play before. I think he levels up pretty nicely. Level 1 Swamp Moss Lurker, of course, is always going to be useful, so we'll try this out. Again, I'm behind on life, but have a reasonable board position. Very happy with this draw. Although it's going to be a tough choice whether to play the Raptor, the Titan, or the Korok. All of them, I think, are, depending on what he does, all of them could be good plays. Really, the question with leveling the Korok is whether or not I think the game is going to go long. If I think the game is going to go into rank 4 and I might see my Korok 3, then it would be good to play the Korok 2. If I think that this game is going to end reasonably soon, as he does some more damage to me, then maybe I'd rather level something that is stronger right at this moment. I think I'll level the Korok. Do 14 damage to him, close the gap. My board position is quite nice. Oh, I love the Cavern Hydra plus the Twin Strength, or perhaps the Ashurian Mystic. So I think this might turn around. He kills my Korok, but with the Blightwalker, he would have killed the Raptor if I would have played that. I guess if I played the Cloud Cleaver, that could have played around his Blightwalker, but ultimately I think I'm just happy to see him spend the Blightwalker on the Korok instead of spending the Blightwalker on the Hydra, because I think the Hydra is the card I care more about. This has got to be Cavern Hydra Twin Strength. Let's see. So the question is whether to Twin Strength up the Grove Matriarch or the Cavern Hydra. And think for a second. So after combat, the Cavern Hydra... Actually, I can just run combat. There's no harm in that. After combat, the Hydra is 7-2. It's going to regen to 7-3. Not 7-3. Regen to 7-5. 5 health. So the Twin Strength is the difference between it being at 5 health or 9 health. I think I'm going to do the Grove Matriarch. I think there isn't... At this point in the game, it's too easy for him to kill a 9 health creature. So, whereas a 20 health creature is a serious problem for him. Possible I could have used the Cavern Hydra to block the 3-3 instead of the 1-5. I don't think it's going to matter, but that was perhaps a questionable choice. And he gets a poor draw. I get a poor draw, but again, we both get our bad draw here in player rank 3. I've got the better board position, so I come out of this quite well. Let's level up my Bear Rider. And then I think I'm going to play Icebound Fortitude because I have such a nice board. Give myself the really high health Hydra that he probably has no good way to deal with. Other than Blightwalker. I guess he's about to level up, which will put Blightwalker 3 into his deck. Although, of course, the best answer to Blightwalker is to have multiple regenerating creatures, and so he can't hit both of them. And then I think this is game. I just Aronti Bolt and Enrage, and that should be fatal damage. Okay, so that was round 1. I think that my opponent's draft deck there wasn't especially strong, and so I was able to win largely on the back of my Grove Matriarchs and my Hydras. I don't know that's the way I envision the deck working. I'd love to be able to get a game where I can actually use Korok's special ability. Maybe that will be game 2. I'll be back here shortly. Thanks a lot.